One day in the beginning of the school, when Joan and I had arrived there, it's a 3-week school, I just wandered over from the school where we were housed across the car park, and there's a big church there, and there's a cafe, the River Church Cafe, and I just went in to see whatever. I don't know whether I could get something over there at that time. It was getting towards dusk, and I went in and it was empty, but this other girl from Holland, taller than I was, and so on, and she we hadn't met. And she'd walked out the door only a few paces ahead of me from the front chairs here to me. And I came out behind her and I felt really bad. I felt uncomfortable. She felt uncomfortable. And I'm walking behind her. And so I thought to myself, what'll I do? Back off? Or just catch up and talk? I thought, well, I'll just catch up and talk. Spontaneously just started to say, hi, I'm Barry. I'm from Australia. My wife and I come there. And where are you from? And she told me her name. And so on. And we had this awkward walk across this car park to the place. And I knew that there was something damaged in her and uncomfortable with men. That event that we had that day in standing and apologizing to women completely and utterly broke that down. They stood up. James Jordan said, now how many of you women, after all this confession, man, I tell you what, one guy came out with an act of immorality and abuse of women that he'd never told anybody ever in front of everyone. And these women got up and they said, how many would you like to respond? And they did. And these two girls, the one born of Indian culture and the Dutch girl, were so healed and so released from the abuses and put-downs of they had suffered in their life that from that moment on, you wouldn't believe it, this Dutch girl came up and gave me the biggest hug. Something was completely changed. Something was completely healed. And I believe God is in a way today through the Father heart. You know, if we understand the Father heart of God, we will become better mothers. You understand the Father heart of God, you'll become a better mother, because God created Adam and Eve. He created Adam, and we'll just have a look at Genesis chapter 1 and throw stuff in here in Genesis chapter 1, 26 and 27. And God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the air and over the livestock, over the earth and over all creatures. Now he said, let us make man in our image, let them rule. He made Adam. Adam is not the word man, it is humankind. Let us make a replica of ourselves. And let us put in him all the attributes of our glory and person and community and unity and love and completeness. Let us pour the whole thing into this creation. And so God created man in his own image. And in the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. Male and female were in the creation. Male and female were slotted in, blended in one person. The glory of God, the nature of God, the beauty of God, the attributes of God was completely invested into this being. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, and so on. When God spoke to Adam, in chapter 2, verse 15, and God took the man and put him in the garden to work it and create and to take care of it. And the Lord commanded the man, you are free to eat of any of the tree in the garden, but you must not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. When you eat of it, you shall surely die. When God spoke to Adam, Adam and Eve were in Adam. The male and the female were in the person. So when God's speaking to them about the trees in the garden, He's speaking to them in this person. He's speaking to the person He's loving and trusting and pouring out Himself to. He's speaking to the person that He wanders every evening in the cool of the day and meets together with Him with delight and with great joy and excitement. He's coming to meet with the person who's created that has His very DNA inside of him. The glory of God in the spiritual realm now is created in a natural world because God wanted to do something beyond Himself in the spiritual and create a natural form and shape and environment and animals and all the amazing creation of God, an expression of all He was in a physical form. All that we look around, someone said, what a magnificent day we have today. Isn't it incredible to look out there? What does they say? Beautiful one day? Yeah, we have that in New South Wales too. Talk about, you don't have a priority on that. But this person was the creation of God, of Himself in reflection, completely identifying one with another in person, in understanding, relationship, in revelation, in the fullness, in unity, in completeness. And then it says that it's not good for man to be alone. Hallelujah. My wife is not very well, has been diagnosed with double pneumonia, and we're not accepting it, but she's on antibiotics, and it's not good for men to be alone. All the cooking and the ironing and the vacuuming of the floors. I mean, I'm used to doing that, by the way. Come on. Yeah, I know she'd be laughing, but she knows it's true. But it's not good. And the point was, the person Adam could not be alone, because that is not the likeness of God. When God created, it's a three-person relationship in one. Community in heaven, church in heaven. If two or three are gathered together, there's three there. That's church in heaven. It's fellowship in heaven. It's the ideal. It's the Godhead community church. And here He's creating one person. Well, it's not completely finished. And God didn't say it was completely good until He put Adam to sleep and took out of him a rib, which He then made out of the attributes of this one person. Took out not only just a bone, He took out the factors of the heart of the Father and placed it in this person called a woman. And men do not have one less rib than women, by the way, if you heard that story. Medically, to do bone grafts and stuff, they'll take a rib because it's the only part of the body that regrows all the time. So it's back there, Maybe it's not the only part, but that's major. That's a fact. Where was I? He creates. So when He brings Eve to this man now, they're now male and female, He did not create something new because there was a flaw in the creation. He took out of His image the nature of His heart, which was a nurturer, which was an affectionate, tender-hearted vessel that reflected who He was. The man was given the leadership, to take charge, to care, to protect, to watch over and provide for the creation with his wife. But he's lost something. He's lost the significant factor that he could have within himself out of him and into this woman, that now she was the heart of God, the image of God, who just took the opportunity, the ability now given to her to birth like the Father, like God. She was designed with the functions of a body in a physical form that reflected the very person and nature of God, who nurtures us and carries us. And you've got scriptures that talk about the fact that, Jesus coming into Jerusalem before the crucifixion,